If you're just tuning in now, what we're looking at right now is the seagulls basically trying to get people's vote. Be under no illusions. This is the most vicious part of the campaign. Absolutely vicious. It's Animal Farm all over again.
Complete savages.
What the way you described it to me yesterday is absolutely insane. When you get to this place, it feels absolutely yuck, and I don't know how you've been doing it for the last 2 days straight. All the candidates that are out there, I take my hat off to you. Well done. But if you guys are out there and you've used the Turning Point Australia How to Vote cards, that's great. That's really good. But it's not enough. We need your help out here. We need your help at all of these polling places. Now, I'm here with Julian Fayed. He's running for the UAP in Parramatta. He's one of the Freedom candidates, along with the Liberal Democrats, the One Nation candidate, who's a bit of a no-show, which I won't say why. And then there's also Steve Christie. They're all against vaccine mandates, vaccine passports, lockdowns, and they want to restore more freedom to people. If you're just tuning in right now, give this a share. I can see there's a lot of people listening live already. So, Julian, you've been here for the last 2 days. You've been doing it so much. When you go to sleep, you're probably seeing flashes of handing people pamphlets.
Yeah, it's intense.
What can you tell people?
Essentially 8 a.m. You can start voting, and it doesn't close until 8 p.m. And so you've got to get here really early because they set up, hundreds of their signs, and I'm not kidding. So if you're not here early enough, you might not have enough of a presence with your signs in the correct locations. And they have teams of people doing it, and then the candidates with bigger teams, they kind of just stroll in 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock when things kick off. But guys like me, we don't have a big team. We just come in, set up, and we've got to get here, 7:30 or earlier. Set up our signs. Hopefully there's some spots left. And then, it's quite intense from the moment you get out of the car.
Now one of the really cool things that I've learned while being here with Julian is there's some hilarious stories of often the Freedom candidates going up to the mainstream candidates in this area. It happens to be Maria from the Liberal Party, parachuted in by the Prime Minister himself and Don Perrottet, and also old mate Andrew Charlton, brought to you by the World Economic Forum. Guys, this is who we're talking about here. If we can get hundreds of thousands of people to Canberra, we can easily get 1, 2, 3 to 5 people manning a polling booth at any one time. In every electorate, there's only 1 to 2 early voting centres. If you want to find out where your local centre is, click the link in the description. And when it comes to what's going on the ground, we don't want our candidates getting burnt out. Get out here. You don't have to be professional. This is Julian's first time running, and I think that a lot of the major parties are really spooked. So Julian, there's been a lot of crazy things that have been going on at this polling booth. Why is it that these mainstream politicians that are run when you ask a question?
Yeah, it's very interesting. First time I met Andrew Charlton face to face, and Maria has been at this particular polling booth. For some context, this polling booth accounts for about 90 to 95% of all early voting. So that's why there's so much emphasis on this particular polling booth in Parramatta. And so I walked up and said, introduced myself to Andrew, and said, I think there was a kind of an agreement that things were going to be kept quite civil between the candidates. And so I said to him, by the way, you up for some Parramatta trivia? And he just completely froze. And I said, no, that's okay, don't worry. It'll be a long 2 weeks if we play that game. And he was quite relieved. Maria, I asked them spot questions, Maria and Andrew, like, what did this building used to be? Can any of you tell me? Just in case the media ask you. And obviously they couldn't. And it turns out it was formerly a Ford Parts and Service Centre. So anyway, I know that because my brother worked here, because I'm from Parramatta, and these guys just aren't. So.
Guys, it's really funny seeing the dichotomy between the different candidates. Now, Julian, you were here a couple of days ago on Monday. It was the first day of pre-polling, and there was a bit of an ugly situation with an elderly bloke. Do you mind telling me exactly what happened?
So I'll do my best to stay in frame. But there's a gentleman that was on a walker, and essentially needed assistance walking really, really slowly with the walker. And the seagulls, as I call them, all the volunteers, they came and they were swamping this guy, so much so that they were blocking his path, and he was taking like 1 step a second, really slow, really struggling to walk up the long driveway. And they were like opening his little compartment, throwing their how to votes in there. They were going to his back pockets and his pockets on his clothes and shoving the how to votes in there. Yeah, to me, I felt disgusting. I almost wanted to quit then and there. It was just, I could never bring myself to do that. Instead of helping the guy walk through, they're just making sure that their how to vote cards were jammed down his throat, you know.
Ridiculous. So. Well, look, that's just one of the stories which you see on the ground here, guys. Remember, there's 260 people listening live right now. Give this a share, get it out there. And a lot of you have used the How to Vote cards for Turning Point Australia. That's great, because what it means is we do a lot of the hard work for the candidates that are on the ground. It means that people rock up, and we saw this yesterday, and they'd show a photo of the Turning Point How to Vote card, basically warding these vampires off to tell them, no, I know exactly who I'm voting for. I know who you are, Andrew Charlton. I know who you are, Maria. I know where you come from. I know you're from the World Economic Forum, Andrew Charlton, and that's it. Now, it's not just enough to vote. It's not just enough to share this out. If you are coming to a protest, especially the one this weekend, you should, of course, be out here volunteering. Now, if you can't get in contact with your local candidates from any of the 10 freedom parties, the best way to do it, click the link in the description, go find your local polling place, especially for early voting. They'll probably be in the same centre, and go say, hey, I'd like to start. And they'll be like, oh, we can start now. You know, here's a cap from our party, here's a t-shirt, you know, here's a bundle of them. Don't come back to me until they're all gone. That's how we do it. Now, the major parties, they've been at this for a very long time, and there's a lot of very, very cool tricks that they do that Julian's now going to tell us about. It's raining on us right now. This is how committed we are to getting this to you and helping all of those candidates from all of the freedom parties to let you know what's up.
Yeah, so what you're going to see is, all the different how to vote cards in there. So essentially, as you're walking up, some of the strategies I've learned to be effective are make sure you have someone at the beginning, so perhaps where they park or where they first make the interaction with the How to Vote Centre, because you want to have that early interaction before the seagulls get to them and all the other parties swamp them and give them 4 or 5 flyers.
Yeah.
It's essentially a battle to try and put your How to Vote card on the top. Okay,
just like on here.
And here you can see we gave the first one, and then we gave the last one. So
and guys, Julian and I, we don't care which freedom party is on the top and the bottom. We obviously, Julian wants to see himself get elected, and God bless him. But obviously, we want all the freedom parties either on the top or the bottom. So sometimes what we see with Labor is they get a guy. I think yesterday it was Pierre Esber, who serves in the council. He was further up on the street, and then what ended up happening was they'd get the first one. I got the first one. I keep walking through, and then they had Andrew Charlton, the candidate, at the very end to close the deal, and he had the last one. So you had the top and the bottom. Yeah. That's the sort of skills we need to know, and that's the sort of skills. If you're a candidate, give us a share so the people you follow can get that message.
There's also some other tactics that they use, like essentially the equivalent of a shepherd in NRL. So, for example, they'll use the back as a candidate's coming through to block the other candidates from handing a flyer. So they'll turn the Joel, if you just come further back here. Yeah. So what would happen is if I see a candidate here, I'll turn my back and usher the voter through this direction.
How do you not punch on with them?
Well, they don't touch me, because if they did, I'd probably have punch on. But they essentially use that shielding or shepherding technique. Yeah. And so that's some of the stuff that's going on. There's some other stuff that's you really need to be aware of. The AEC draws a boundary, and in this case, they've put some duct tape on the road. You might.
So as you can see here, guys, you got the boundary over here, which is that sort of pavement line just there. I'm pointing at. So when it's sunny, it's raining now, but when it's sunny, what are the sort of rules there?
So during when it's not raining, we're not allowed past that line. Okay. So all the candidates, anybody handing out flyers, anyone associated with each of the parties can't cross that line, and this direction here is the voting centre in there. Now when it's raining, they move the boundary under the sheltered area in this particular polling booth. And that sheltered area there, we're only allowed 2 people. That actually levels the playing field for the smaller parties, because now you don't have a team of 15 Labor Party volunteers and 15 Liberal Party volunteers. So they don't play fair. They breach all the rules. Andrew Charlton walks 10 metres behind the boundary, follows them all the way up to the voting centre sometimes. So that's essentially what they're doing. And so we need to be very mindful of that. You need to make sure that you call it, you report it immediately to the AEC representative, because they will just keep pushing the envelope and keep pushing the envelope until somebody complains and somebody calls them in line.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
there have been some complaints,
Yes.
and the AUC don't necessarily look into all of them.
Yeah, and so it's been interesting. You know, at one point we were only allowed 2 people in that section there.
Yeah.
And,
Over there when it was raining.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're only allowed 2 people in there.
Yeah.
And Labor had 6 people, and their excuse was that it's raining and we don't want them to stand in the weather.
Yeah.
And that they're not handing out flyers.
Yeah.
And so immediately, you know, within 3 seconds, they were handing out flyers, 6 of them. So
Yeah.
So look, they're not going to play nice. They're not
Yeah.
going to play fair.
Yeah.
I proceeded to record Andrew Charlton because he was just going to do plausible deniability.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'm telling you now, you've been warned. Are you going to ask your volunteers to move along, or are you going to continue to let 6 of them hand out flyers?
Yeah.
So so there's all sorts of games being played.
Yeah.
They'll keep Andrew Charlton walk across the boundary to make sure that he is the very last person to hand that how to vote card, even if it means walking past the boundary by 10 meters, 15 meters,
Yeah.
following them basically into the voting center.
Yeah, guys, these are very valuable skills. There's 300 people listening live. Give this a share, get it out there. It's not enough just to vote. It's not enough just to share. Get out to your local polling booth. If you need to vote early, if you need to vote, on the day, volunteer before, or just give them some times. Get to the local polling booth. Say, hey, I'm here. Throw some cards at me. Let me hand them out, and do that. You don't have to come for the whole day. Just 2 hours, just 3 hours. At least it gives these guys a break. They barely have any lunch or go to the bathroom. I mean, this is vital stuff. We've been hammering about coming after the major parties. We've been talking about it for 2 years now. This is where the battleground is, and it's absolutely vicious and disgusting. And this is the thing: only the strong will prevail. And if these guys remember that saying, where responsibility has been advocated, opportunity lurks. These guys are seizing that opportunity. You can make a difference. Every person that you hand a how to vote card to for whichever freedom party is helping out. They're all crying out for help. They're all asking me, Joel, can you give me a shout out? I need some volunteers. This is from every party. So if you like Ricardo Bossi, if you like Bob Catter, if you like Pauline Hanson, if you like Clive Palmer, if you like, geez, I don't want to discriminate. There's the Liberal Democrats. There's a whole bunch of them. Go out there and volunteer for them. Go out there and tell them, here, I'm at your disposal. It's so important that you do this. We're at crunch time. We're at the final sprint. This has been a big marathon, and this is the absolute last moment to really make a difference. Now's the point.
Just one thing in closing. One of the things... Sorry. A bit of a blue in the back here. It's going. You've seen it live.
This is a classic. This is a classic. This is exactly how dirty it is. Now, if we're not out there, if we're not representing, then this is exactly the sort of thing. You got these guys handing out how to vote cards, and this is you want to put a better way forward to people, and if you want to do that, this is how you do it.
When you're handing out how to vote cards, I think one of the most important things is to try and capture their attention immediately. You've got basically 3 seconds to win them, and maybe they'll stop and listen, and then you can talk more. So if you see, let's say for example with UAP, we've got the increase to the pension. If there's an elderly couple or something like that, that's a policy I'm just going to try and quickly grab their attention.
Yeah.
They'll at least look at it, and then they'll see the rest of the policies. So you just need to find something, grab their attention. Young family might be a different policy. A middle-aged couple, different policy. Try and think of something that will grab their attention.
Yeah.
Or even say we're a genuine alternative to the major parties.
Yeah.
Something like that will grab their attention because, let's be honest, ScoMo and Albo, they're both crap options. So a lot of people are willing to vote. The polling shows that people are willing to vote for an alternative. Give them that alternative. But
Absolutely.
You need to be here. You need to be down here with the team. And you know what? We're helping each other. Myself and the Lib Dems, we're helping each other with signs. If I get here early, I'm reserving some spots for her signs so that she can get a presence. If she needs to go to the bathroom or whatever, I'm not wearing UAP colours, but I'll hand out her how to votes for a little bit and make sure that they're getting both.
Yeah.
So we're just working together, but we need people on the ground, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And guys, the best way to work out if there's a ghost candidate in your electorate is go to the pre-polling place, because you'll find that they're not here. Now, I love One Nation. I think they're doing a really good job, but I can't see their One Nation representative out here. So I don't think they're running a serious campaign in this electorate. But there are a lot of other electorates where the One Nation campaign people are doing a phenomenal job. There's some great Senate candidates in New South Wales and around the country, but get out to your local polling place, find your favourite Freedom Party, help them all out, and get it out there. Now, if you're listening, give it one last share, send it to everyone that's around. Click the link in the description and you'll find exactly where your local polling booth is. And I'm going to share this video out everywhere so that everyone gets the benefits of some of those polling booth perks so that it can help all the freedom parties. I'll see you guys later. Thanks so much. And I'm going to keep documenting a lot of the stuff that happens here today, because I reckon there's going to be a lot more drama as the day goes on. I'll see you later. Thanks, Joel.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank you, Joel.
No worries.